The Lonely Londoners. If you remember, I have already given you a sizable discussion of Sam Sullivan as a person and a writer. And I have also introduced the text, The Lonely Londoner, by pointing out, in a nutshell, what this particular book is all about. Its genre as a specimen of, say, migrant literature, West Indian or Caribbean migrant literature. Two historical facts, namely the arrival of some West Indians during the Second World War. I'm obviously talking about the United Kingdom. And these people actually arrived at the Albion shore to support the war efforts, to fight or to, say, manufacture weapons and armaments. Then I have also referred to the Citizenship Bill of 1948, whereby unrestrained entry into England and the United Kingdom, this right was extended to the inhabitants of the mother country as well as the British colonies. I've talked about two of the most important themes of this novel regarding, say, for example, racism and the quest for stability and all that. Then I have also given you the historical background to this large-scale migration. I have told you about some of the associated texts and writers, say someone like a George Lemming, someone like a Frantz Fanon, someone like Jean Rhys, and so on and so forth. Now today I am going to give you a kind of a rough idea about the plot of this particular novel. Now, as I was telling you yesterday about the Lonely Londoners, if you remember, I had told you about the episodic nature of the narrative. And also a lack of a cohesive plot that would develop with time, giving birth to figures. Now, these episodic narratives are neither chronological nor very logical as well. You know, certain immigrant characters living in London in the 1950s are drawn in a way haphazardly, insofar as we want to have an idea of their lives. Disjointed lives, meaningless lives, in many cases, a despairing life for most of them. So these are things that I need to point out before I plunge deep into the plot current of this particular novel. Now, if we really want to know the story, almost a non-existent story, we'll see that there are certain characters who meet and part as the seasons change. There is a Trinidadian man, Moses, who is shown as waiting in the Waterloo station for an utter stranger from his own country to arrive. Now, this particular person is called Henry Oliver or Galahad. He is a namesake of the knight from the legends concerning King Arthur and his round table. Okay. There is Moses. There is Galahad. Then there is a Jamaican man called Tolroy. There is a Nigerian man captain or cap in short. Then there are the relatives of Tolroy. Sorry. Tanti Bessie, Lewis, Agnes, and so on and so forth. Now, Moses is waiting to meet Galahad. Moses also meets this fellow. You know, Tolroy was expecting his mother only his mother. But he gets Tanti Bessie and others. Okay. Then there is also a light-skinned black man who considers himself or he conceals his black identity. Okay. So you will see that the short pen pictures or vignettes that in a way will act as another talisman. You know, what the novelist has tried to stress or point out before us is the enormous power of love. Now, why is it so important? Because these fellows are all financially weaker. For them to buy something for the expected person, like the mother, and unexpected persons, this is what nobody gets. So, this particular text is, as I was telling you, very haphazard, not a systematic organic feel that we get from you know there are certain themes that I will discuss as we go along. Okay, you know, Galahad comes, Moses befriends him. In his case, that is Moses' case, expectation and reality correspond very easily. Now, once Moses has tried to tease Lewis, a relative of Tolroy, you know, uh, there are certain complications in the story at this point of time. Certain things are revealed. You know, just as Galahad is trying to find his own feet in this metropolis, people from other communities face the same or similar problems. Okay. So I will strongly recommend that, if possible, read this book, The Lonedoners. It's not a very fat volume, so you can very easily get it. Okay, is there anyone who has got any question for me?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, what about the sense of nostalgia? I mean, is there any rumination or memories of Trinidad that was remained deeply imprinted on the imagination of Moses?
Eh?
Or instead of doing this, he was focusing? Yes, sir.
Odichi. Just 1 second. You know, you are talking about nostalgia. Yes, sometimes Moses feels that. Even at times, other characters also feel that. Especially during the dreary winter, when they have to contend with the fierce cold and compare it with their own sunny land. But there is also nostalgia. There is not only nostalgia, there is also nostalgia, a fear of the past. Because, you know, most of them have come to England in search of greener pastures. They have come here in search of better economic prospects. So they are not, by nature, very, very backward looking. Are you getting my point? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any other question? কেন পাঠাতে পারিস নি এখনো? আবার করে আবার কর। হ্যাঁ করতে হবে, করে দে। Any other question? Come on.
Sir, is there any illusion about the court booked of
I'm not getting you.
as being discriminated?
Repeat the question, please.
Oh, sir, is there any kind of illusion about the humanity or the hospitality of the white Londoners as they are creating the discrimination or disjunction on the basis of skin of color?
Illusion.
Sir, is it something positive?
No, illusion, for other characters, there is no illusion. But, for someone like a newcomer, like, say, Galahad, there are certain kinds of illusion. For example, they think that because of the economic prosperity of the Great Britain, life here will be full of opportunities and well-paid jobs and all that. But this is something that doesn't happen all the time. Similarly, there are others who have certain illusions. For example, Bach, the light-skinned black man who considers himself as actually at least projects himself as a non-black. So he wants to present himself as a Latino man. Now, in that case, there may be certain difficulties in overcoming engagements. Any other question? Okay. Siddiq, if there are no other questions, you may remove me. Good night.
Okay, sir, thank you.